Were you down in Dallas, Texas?
I wish I were. Okay,
I mean,
now.
Take off his beard and mustache. It looks just like this guy.
Okay, I want to go and.
Mr. T coming down.
Yeah, he's right there. Okay, I want to get the chat room on here, but.
I gotta show you something I'm peddling. Hey girls, Dallas.
There's what I'm looking for. Okay. Looks like the chat room is ready to go. Come on, go over here.
I think they're leaving that prompt open for the heat.
Cut down the Pluto or something.
Nobody watching now? Oh, there's one person watching now. Okay. My mic is on, so whatever you don't want to hear, don't say it. Just think it, and we'll get through with mind reading. My mic is on, so whatever you don't want to hear, don't say it.
Fine. Who's fine? You're all fine.
Did I just hear something coming over that?
Nope. That was
Oh, Scotty.
squirting.
Oh, you got it.
Making noise.
Okay. I'm beat up. Okay. Got 4
We're seeing
minutes.
everything in the delay.
Got to, oh, you got the windows open? Okay. It's going to be a little warm till the outside cools off. Ah, we got our first chat person in there. Oh, we got 2. Chat Flash, comrades. Hey, okay, you may be hearing me, Jack. We got about a minute before we start. Well, actually, we got about 5 minutes according to my clock. So, just bear with us, guys. If you can hear me on my mic, we haven't got the other ones turned on. If you can hear me, give me a heads up. Let me know how my volume sounds, and I'll find the appropriate thing to turn it up. Greetings, fellow deplorable infidel squirrels. You got that right.
That's how you sound.
Okay, sounds okay to me. Some pumps and pimpettes.
Pimps and pimpettes.
Yeah.
That was me.
Right back at you. Loud and clear. Okay, that's what I want to know. We got loud and clear from the audience. I smell something.
It's your manly stench.
Anywho's it. Here's the stories you guys might want to glance at so you get an idea of what's going on. I'm going to do the gun shows. Pick one, look at it. You each get a chance to talk from your mic about it, and you can make your comments about it. And what you think. Not how you feel, but what you think. And if you stink, why, that's okay too.
Well, my wife's not here to tell me what I think, so I should keep my mouth shut.
Let's see. Great Scott. Yeah, Scott's in the thing there. Mr. T's here. And of course,
Hello, all.
Legendary.
the serial bludgeoner Bones is in the audience.
What?
Serial bludgeoner. He's killed several porcupines with a club. Rock.
stick.
head of an axe, a log splitter.
See, kill the groundhog too.
Yeah, you should have come with me when I was coming home. Because there was 3 big mothers.
That's all right. I hit one with my car.
Yeah, oh, that's right, you were telling me that.
And
Okay, says, hey, Scott, good to see you. That's from Jack Flash. I believe that's Jack from up in Cleveland. Cleveland! Which, when I get back from the hospital tonight, I'm going to watch the Cleveland Brownies and see if they can beat... Who are they playing?
Who?
Cleveland Brownies.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I guess you can talk about these 3.
There's some stupid stuff there. And, well, okay, turn your mics on. We're going to go live for everybody about 2 minutes soon. So, can everybody hear everybody? Say hello, Mr. T and Bones.
Hello.
What up, dog?
And Scotty, okay. Okay, now that we have that, give me a sound rep on the other 2 mics there so we make sure everything's working fine.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear me now? How about now? Can you hear me now? Well, how about if I go down to Pittsburgh? Can you hear me there? Anyway, well, it is Sunday night, September what?
22nd.
September 22nd. This year.
Last day of summer.
Yeah, last day of summer. But it don't act like it. It's kind of warm. I am your host. I'm going to go back to my early days and call myself Grizz. And each one, we know we got Bones the Bludgeoner, we got Mr. T, and we need one for Scotty over there.
Can I swear?
Yeah, you can swear.
Captain Cockhammer.
We have no censor button. We have no cough button.
Well, I didn't know since it was Sunday. No, I'll just be Scott. You can call me Scott. I don't need a nickname.
Okay, well, anyway, folks, I have some bad news for you. My wife's back in the hospital.
Sure.
I will be leaving here in a few minutes to go down there after I go through the gun shows. And then the other 3 jokers that are here will take over the microphones and give you a good show, I hope. And I will be back probably about somewhere around 40 minutes before the end of the show because they only have about an hour and a half. So when I get back, I'll go into the situation with her and how she's doing because going down there, I'll get an update tonight. So, who's it? Here we go. Got your recorders going. You got your GPSs going so you can figure out where these places are. The first one that I have is my show at Chapmanville, Saturday, October the 12th and Sunday, October the 13th. That's on Route 27, headed towards Titusville at the Chapmanville Fire Hall. And the Fireman's Kitchen will be open, and it's $5 admission for adults and children when they are accompanied by an adult. 12 or under, get in free. And next one I have is Ashtabula County Fairgrounds over in Ohio, October the 26th and 27th at the Ashtabula County Fairgrounds, 127 North Elm Street in Jefferson, Ohio. That's usually a good show. I think it's about 150 maybe table show. And then one I just got here yesterday for November the 9th and 10th is Yankee Lake. Make sure I take this back up with me when I go, Bones, so I can tear off the reservation form. It's the Yankee Lake Gun Show, 1814 State Route 7, Brookfield, Ohio. That's another one over in Ohio. And years ago there was some, and then for a reason they quit, and they were good. I'm hearing telling they're started up and they're doing okay again. So at the end of the show, I'll probably go over these again. November the 16th and 17th at the Hickory Post VFW. Route 62 east of PA 18.
2 miles east of 18, and I think it's 7 miles west of Mercer.
Yep.
I've already measured that.
That's November the 16th and 17th. Then Harbor Creek, December the 14th and 15th. This is the Harbor Creek Fire Hall, Social Hall. Buffalo Road, which is Route US 20, of course, Harbor Creek, PA. And then the last one I have is the Coney Lake Sportsman's Club Gun Show, January the 25th and 26th. It's at 11861 Sportsman Road, which is off of Route 18, Coney Lake, PA. That's a smaller show, but it's always been a good show. I have one that's supposed to be coming in October. The flyer hasn't got here. It's for Rocky Grove, and it's the week after my show, October the 12th and 13th. So I just put an email into them to request information, or a phone call into them to request information on the gun show, because for some reason I have to call and beg for a flyer from them. And that's what I had to do when they had the old guy that was running it. And I keep telling them, you send me a flyer, then I can put it out over the airways and maybe pick you up a few more attendees, and it don't cost you a penny. So, at that point, we'll find out just how well things are when I get down there and when I get back. And this is Bob says guns are evil. Do man toys show instead? What? Do man toy show instead? Well, my man toys seem to have the same problem as the rest of them that have a firing pin. Then at that point, I'm gonna exit and turn it over to my comrades, and I will see you in about a little over an hour. Okay, I'm out of here. Thanks a lot, guys. In case you forget to thank you when I get back.
Well, gentlemen, what have we to chat about this evening? I can start. Let me start. Since it's football Sunday, and former Pittsburgh Steeler, former Oakland Raider, former Patriot is in the news pretty much daily. Apparently, Nike has dropped Antonio Brown. New England Patriots player Antonio Brown, who has been accused of sexual assault and rape, is not a Nike athlete, the company has told Newsmax. Antonio Brown is not a Nike athlete, the company's spokesperson told the Globe in a statement Wednesday night, while declining to comment on the decision any further. Apparently, the newspaper could not reach Brown's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, for a comment. That's all the more press I'm going to give that knucklehead. He very obviously has issues going on. Now, I don't follow professional sports all that much, or college sports, or any televised sports. If it ceased to exist tomorrow, it really wouldn't affect me one way or the other. But a lot of my college friends are from Pittsburgh, so they constantly are hammering Antonio Brown, and they're always bringing up the fact that he kind of went off the rails when he got that hit by Perfect. Is that what it was? Perfect, whatever. All kinds of CTE talk and whatnot. But he's losing his ass. I saw today that he's not going to play in the NFL anymore. He's not playing. Well, nobody wants him because he is a train wreck.
He's an accident waiting to happen.
Oh my goodness! There's just I can't imagine any team wanting that kind of drama to deal with. I mean, there's enough other crap going on out there. Bring that into your locker room. It's just mayhem, chaos. Next!
Oh, we do round robin?
Sure.
Well, mine all kind of go together, but, anyway. Everybody knows about, or heard about, Francis, otherwise known as Beto O'Rourke, and his gun grab declaration. But anyway, Mr. O'Rourke has maintained that he believes gun owners will follow the law and turn in the banned weapons, i.e. assault weapons, because he said gun owners have gone to him on the campaign trail to say they would. I don't know who's stupid enough to do that. He also defended the proposal as constitutional. And I have no idea where he found that out. This is something that we were able to go through the comments, Commerce Clause, and this is something that is not prevented from, wouldn't prevent the United States from doing by the Second Amendment. So this is constitutionally sound. Again, I have no idea how he figured that out. My work made headlines in the fourth Democrat debate last week. He said, hell yes, we are going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used on fellow Americans anymore. And South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Butthead says such language is playing in the hands of Republicans. Now, tying in with that, after Mr. O'Rourke did his gun grab rant, down in Arizona, a gun store decided to sell AR-15s as via the Beto specials. Okay, and they sold 200 AR-15s. Now, the owner of the Arizona gun store said the Beto special on AR-15 rifles he ran has resulted in outpouring of support and positivity for the store. Anyway, that box is Alpha Dog Firearms in Temple appeared on Fox News last Thursday to discuss a motion that used Democratic presidential candidate Beto O'Rourke's name in his calls for gun control. A lot of response we've gotten has just been really positive from the community, said blogs, whose stores sold all 200 AR-15s that they had in stock within hours of the promotion's launch. I think the actual time was like 4 hours or less. We didn't really start this off to be a political statement by any stretch of imagination. I just happened to hop on Facebook and saw O'Rourke's comments and said, well, maybe I can sell 20 rifles and we'll see what happens. During last week's Democratic presidential debate, O'Rourke said he would push for confiscation of AR-15s and AK-47s awake several mass shootings as a result that have rattled the nation. Gun rights advocates, including blogs, don't see that as a helpful solution. I don't know of anyone who owns an AR or AK who is willingly going to give them up. I don't either. You're giving up your Second Amendment right, blog said. Our customers, the people that we've heard from, the people who have been emailing us, they all just seem to be like, you guys are doing a great job. I just really wanted to put something out there, and I did not expect the result that we got out of this. This has just been really awesome to see the support from the firearms community. He added, people are trying to find a simple solution for a very complex problem. Making legal gun owners into criminals is not the solution. The last article I had to kind of ties into those two. Mass shooting survivor lobbies Congress for less gun control. Since surviving the 1991 mass shooting at Lou's restaurant in Killeen, Texas, Susanna Gracia Hoop has lobbied for looser gun control laws that she said could have allowed her to say the 23 victims, including both her parents. I reached for the gun in my purse before next to me, Hope said. I'm hopeful at Congressional Committee, Wednesday during a hearing on the economic costs of gun violence. She recounted the moments after the killer, George Hennard, crashed his pickup into the restaurant where she was eating with her parents and opened fire. But then I realized a few months later I had made the stupid decision of my life. My gun was 100 yards away, dutifully lifting my car to obey the law because at that time, in the state of Texas, carrying a handgun was illegal. So, she survived a mass shooting in 1991 at Louis Restaurant in Texas. I believe one of the people killed at the time, or could have been killed at the time, was the then NRA president. I can't think of his name. And there's some indication there might have actually been a hit job on him, but didn't work out right. But concealed carry. Okay, I conceal carry. When I go those places where I can legally conceal carry. A lot of places have been restaurants. And to me, it makes sense because you just never know what's going to occur in a restaurant. And it's just stupid, you know, you can conceal carry and then go to some place that doesn't allow guns in the premises, so you leave your gun out in the car, and then guess what happens? The worst possible thing is somebody decides to, you know, start shooting. And I have to agree with her and anybody else that says the same thing. We need less gun control. We need more people active in carrying weapons, being able to use them, being able to carry them concealed, because hopefully the good guy with the gun will take out the bad guy with the gun before a massacre takes place. Anyway, those are my three. They all tied in together.
A couple of comments
Right.
about that shooting in Killeen,
Killeen, Texas.
That happened when I was stationed over in Germany. It just so happened that my roommate at the time, Corporal, I forget his last name, he had just transferred from, I think that's down near Fort Hood.
Yeah, we're down there. It's pretty close there.
Well, he told me, we were talking about, he's like, when he was stationed down there, every Sunday, that's where him and his family went to dinner. That was like their after church, he was like, well, it's just so weird. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. He's like, dude, that could have been me.
I remember the story, and I get, it's been a while since I heard it. The then NRA president was working in his business, and he was working on a project. And they apparently always ate lunch there at this restaurant. And they had a table reserved right by the window. He told us, hey, why don't you go there, get the table. I'll be down short. I just need to finish this project. I don't want to leave it go. I need to finish it. So they went. Everybody else shows up, and this guy, you know, he just, and his name's not mentioned. I'm sorry, George Hennard crashed his pickup truck into the restaurant. Now, I really can't about this particular woman commented that her father was shot first. Her mother did not want to leave her husband's body. And she tried, and the daughter here tried to get her mom to leave. She would not leave. So she decided to leave. And of course, the mother was then promptly killed by the gunman. And I remember seeing testimony. She appeared before Congress, and she lobbied. We should be allowed to conceal carry basically wherever we go. To me, that includes the post office, but you never know when somebody might go postal.
But going back to the Beto O'Rourke deal, you know,
The salesman of the month!
when he mentioned that the gun owners were coming up to him and saying that they would turn in their guns. First off, I thought, no, that's not true. I just don't believe it. And then I started thinking, well, maybe in his twisted socialist Democrat mind, he misunderstood them. And
They said, come and take it?
come and take it, or if you come to take it, I'll shove my gun up your ass, or something along those lines.
I've seen that mean this a couple different ways, and they keep saying, come and take it.
Yeah, what do you got going on over there, kid?
Well, the old man must have printed out the same story twice, because everything that he just talked about was right in there. Except that gives an introduction about how, starting back when Obama was in office, everybody was calling him the greatest gun salesman ever.
That's true.
Well, go ahead. Because I know, I've seen a couple of memes, Beto O'Rourke, AR salesman of the month, or gun salesman of the month. I mean, just so.
Well, I mean, this covers the same thing. It talks about Alpha Dog Firearms and their beta special, and just the same kind of most of them. But
That killed a guy.
Well, I got a couple more over here.
Oh, okay.
This one is also from Newsmax. It says, AOC, Democrats' failure to impeach Trump a scandal. Apparently, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC for short, said Democrats were being weak on President Donald Trump in the wake of reports that he asked Ukraine's government to investigate the son of Democratic frontrunner Joe Biden. I mean, she's quoted as saying, at this point, the bigger national scandal isn't the president's law-breaking behavior. It is the Democrat Party's refusal to impeach him for it. She tweeted on Saturday night. It is one thing for a sitting president to break the law. It's another to let him, she said in a series of postings. The integrity of our democracy isn't threatened when a president breaks the law. It's threatened when we do nothing about it. The GOP's silence and refusal to act shouldn't be a surprise. Ours is. Now, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and congressional Democratic leaders have so far resisted calls to impeach the president, fearing it would be harmful to Democratic candidates seeking re-election in Republican-leaning areas in 2020. There is also little prospect that any effort would be successful in the Republican-controlled Senate.
Yeah, the Senate has to prove it. So,
Yes.
Now, AOC, like most politicians, is wrong. We are not a democracy. We are a representative republic.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And, you know,
But my understanding is now that what the media is saying is actually what actually happened in the conversation between Trump and the Ukrainian folks. And it had actually to do with Biden's son may have done some illegal
highly questionable stuff.
Highly questionable stuff. So if he needs to be prosecuted, then we, the U.S., need the evidence to prosecute him.
From what I understand, our president called their president and said, "Hey, can you cooperate with these guys? Look and help them look into it." I mean, I don't necessarily see that as being too much of an issue. Like, it'd be no different than him getting involved, trying to get a pastor released from Iran, or he's being a diplomat. He's doing what It just so happens it's like Biden's son, but why is the Democrats not pushing to have this looked into? Well, for obvious reasons. It's shady as shit.
Yeah. And of course, Biden's running for president, which he should never get back in the White House at all.
Oh my goodness, that guy's he's a loon anymore. I mean, every day there's like more and more gaffes, I guess they call him. He just steps in it and steps in it and steps in it. His physical limitations. The guy's old as shit. All right.
He's older than Trump, I believe.
Yep, he's like 76 or 77.
Something like that. I mean, Trump's what, 72 or 3, but I mean, he looks good.
That's all the McDonald's eats. I guess he survives on fast food.
Well, then 4 hours sleep, apparently. So. But I could do that, but now, because I lost 40 pounds last year, so working on the farm, so
He looks it, I can tell. You're looking good. I want to ask you out on a date, but I don't want you to
I won't peek in the seal, I won't try anything. I'm carrying the seal, I should say.
You're not a Navy man, so I didn't think you'd go for it.
No. That's true.
Oh boy. Well, I mean,
Anyway, pal. Tell you what, you sit on one side table, and I'll sit on the other side table.
I'll stay at arm's reach. I got another one here. This one's not having to do with politics so much, but apparently teachers join fight against schools' Buddhist meditation. A legal team that has been representing public school students in Colorado and several other states who object to being taught Buddhist meditation now says teachers have legal recourse as well. The American Center for Law and Justice is targeting the growing mindfulness teaching sessions in schools. Students are told to close their eyes and obey an audio recording instructing them to clear their minds, watch their memories and emotions float away on clouds, and feel love and warmth from their connection to the universe.
I can't do that.
I myself have done meditation, or I've tried. I don't see that as being a problem. As long as you don't start talking about Buddhism or any of the other stuff. You can be a good solid Christian and still do meditation, I believe. Some other people don't believe that. While many studies find meditation has benefits, ACLJ called the Buddhist meditation practices in a classroom a slippery slope. Going a step further, imagine that the only opt-out resolution the school offers is to place your child in the hallway unattended while the mindfulness sessions has finished. This is a new reality for parents across the country. The ACLJ is already working to protect your child from the unconstitutional religious influence of state-funded schools, the group said. The organization is now advising that teachers also do not have to subject themselves to such religious teachings. As the mindfulness revolution continues to sweep our nation, students are not the only ones whose rights are being infringed. Teachers and other public employees alike are being forced to attend mindfulness and meditation training and or are under significant pressure to participate in such practices despite their stated religious objections, the ACLJ said. We have received inquiries from public employees who want to know whether it is within their rights to opt out of or refuse to participate in mindfulness in meditation trainings and practices. Forcing a teacher to participate and be trained in the mindfulness curriculums when it is against his or her religious beliefs violates federal law, the group argued. Supporters of the practice insist it's strictly secular. But ACLJ argues many proponents admit that clearly Buddhist principles are embedded in the mindfulness programs, such as the observance of all thoughts and feelings without judgment, the belief that life is cyclical and humans are inherently good, and the idea that we are magnificent and all happiness can be achieved through self-discovery and self-reliance. I don't think people are inherently good. I think people are inherently bad. People are inherently evil. We're base animals. It goes on to say, ACLJ noted there's a law prohibiting religious discrimination in the workplace. Generally, teachers who are required to attend a mindfulness training program may go to the Human Resources Department and find out the curriculum for the program. After reviewing the program, they may inform the employer of any parts that violate their sincerely held religious beliefs. Legally, if the training or practice violates an employee's sincerely held religious beliefs, employers must allow the employee to opt out. And public schools are no exception, ACLJ said. ACLJ's work has begun last winter when it discovered a Colorado school district's plan to institute the mindfulness platform in its elementary schools under the name of Inner Explorer. On behalf of parents in the district, ACLJ argued that would violate the Constitution based on Inner Explorer's audio guide practices what amounts to Buddhism. Participants pay attention to breathing in and out and learning more about their inner worlds. Inner Explorer is centered around the Buddhist principle of Bhava Chakra, or the realms of reincarnation within the universe. The idea of connecting to the universe is explained as a way for children to feel love and peace within themselves. I know as a grade school kid, if you started spouting off that claptrap right over my head, when's lunch? You know.
When's recess? Study hall.
When I was in grade school, they stopped recess by that point. But yeah, I mean,
You never got to like kickball or anything? Or
in
dodgeball?
gym,
Oh, okay.
you know, we had, I think my first couple years of grade school, we had recess, but after like, I think the 4th grade, 5th grade, they'd stopped that. I think a lot, in our area, the parents were complaining that kids are getting home from school really late, because, you know, some of the bus rides were very long. And if they're extending the day by half an hour, 45 minutes to an hour for recess, that can be better served at home. And, you know, I mean, when I went to school, probably still is, there's farm kids out there who need to get home and do chores, or you want to go hunting, or you want to get home to your homework so you can go to bed, get something to eat. So, recess is it's crap anyhow. Crap. It's horrible. Horrible crap.
I'm trying to remember, because I changed school. I remember we had recess grades 5 and 6. Actually, 1 through 3. And then changed schools, I don't think, from parts of the state. Recess was like, huh?
Definitely when I got to the junior high, at the time, at the Meadville Junior High was a different building than the senior high, and it was like right downtown Diamond, so there was definitely no going outside running around. It was traffic.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, 7th grade on, we didn't have recess at all. I mean, gym class, but no going outside and playing touch football or whatever.
Did you ever go to a school where they had a shooting range in the basement?
No.
I had read, like back in the 50s, where they had a dedicated 22 range, and that was part of the phys ed classes. They taught hunter safety and shooting safety. I do recall in senior high, guys were allowed to bring their bows. If you took archery as part of the, are you still allowed to do that at all?
I know there was an opportunity for people to try out archery down at the high school, but it's more of a, if you're interested, they don't try to promote it or get kids involved with it. We have it. We're not going to be all loudmouth about it. If somebody's interested, the opportunity is there.
I got you. Yeah, that was one of the things we could take as for how you. I don't know now, but you picked what you could take.
I switched schools at the end of 9th grade, but at the junior high school complex I went to, the history teacher we had there, who's now just died last year. He had what was called an Antiquities Club, but also he had a French Indian War Battle Reenactment Company group. Where my brother and I participated in, and we dressed up as the good guys, the white French uniforms and all that stuff.
That always bothered me about going to reenactments with Daryl, because he always hooked up with the British side, the IMAX.
Well, we went down to Fort Ligonier a number of times, both in October and one summer. I think 3 times one summer, and did things. It was nice, but in those days, when we had to stay after school to do drill and ceremonies, we could bring our muskets on the bus with us back then. Of course, you didn't bring any black powder with you, but but it's just you do that now and you'll freak out. There's a musket. It's freaking.
Anything that's even. There was a grade school kid, 4 or 5 years ago, that got in trouble for biting his Pop-Tart at lunch to make it look like a gun.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Like, are you flipping kidding me?
And now doing this in Pennsylvania is considered a threatening gesture. And oh, pull inside.
I know that in my time in high school, they had a no tolerance policy for any firearms paraphernalia, drug paraphernalia, alcohol paraphernalia, any of that. If you wore a T-shirt with it on, you got in trouble. I know firsthand, I actually had in junior high, a teacher called me a terrorist because I had a T-shirt with a firearm on it. And I was just the Antichrist, let me tell you.
You are the devil.
You evil person, you.
Oh, I know. But as far, I actually just graduated from tech school with a guy from Berlin, Pennsylvania, down in Somerset County. And his high school actually had a rifle team.
Nice.
And they shot competition 22. Now, I don't know how they did that. I don't know if they had their own guns that they got to bring to school or whether they had their own range. I'm sure I'd have to call him up and talk to him about it. But I just know that his high school actually had one, and I'd have given my left nut. If my high school would have had one, I'd have been on it. I'd have been the captain of the team probably.
Yeah. My son got caught up in that zero tolerance policy, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. He accidentally took a knife to school. Well, it was a big hullabaloo for about a day. The story gets funny. The one video game he played, the one character had a butterfly knife. He thought that was just the coolest thing ever. So he's like, "Daddy, it's this knife." And he didn't even think it really existed because he's like in 3rd grade. I'm like, "Oh, I have one of those." So it was an old piece of crap butterfly knife. So I took a file and I put a dull the edge, and he'd sit there on the computer just playing with it. And he did tutorials on YouTube, and he was just that was his thing. And when Jonathan does something, that's all he does for like 3 months, and then he'll go off to something else. Well, he was still going to my mom's house on the weekends, going to Grandma Bonnie's, and he'd take it, he'd put it in his coat pocket, and show her his new tricks. Well, Summer came, he lost interest in the knife, so the coat got put in the closet. He grew out of it, and it was a nice coat, and it was in there for a couple of years. My wife's like, well, just take this to school and put it in the drop box. Like, get somebody, it's a nice Carhartt winter coat. And he gets to school and he's like, this feels weird. So he took it to the teacher. He just took it right to the teacher. He didn't know what, he's like, this is weird. My mom told me to bring it to school, and they opened it up. Oh God, my wife got called, zero tolerance. He was just, big hullabaloo. And he was all freaked out that I was going to be mad that he took a knife to school and he got in trouble. I'm like, well, you did the right thing. You told somebody, no one got hurt, and the principal's like, thank you, Mrs. Grinnell, we'll see what we can do. So the principal contacted the superintendent and jumped through all the hoops, and she gets a call at the end of the day. We're happy that Jonathan did the right thing. He can come back to school tomorrow. Which was great. Well, he had already convinced himself he's getting 3 days off. He was so pissed. You told me I'm getting 3 days off school. I'm not going tomorrow. I'm like, bullshit, you're going to school. He thought he was getting 3 days off. Because after the stink went down, we realized nothing bad happened. Everything's good. But yeah, that was Jonathan's foray into taking weapons.
Well, back in the 60s, I was a Cub Scout. And I carry a pocket knife. I still carry a pocket knife in school because we didn't have any. Both high schools, I attended. No metal detectors, no pats downs, and so I carried a pocket knife. In fact, it was very funny. I stopped up here in Giant Eagle to use the restroom, and one of the stalls was closed. It was locked, so I used another one. Well, I'm finished up, and comes this guy, and then they realize he's an employee. He's trying to get in to the handicap stall. Can't get open. Okay, anybody in here? Anybody in here? So I finish up walking, and he goes, someone must have used that and crawled on the door, and I can't get open. So I said, wait a minute, pull the pocket knife, screwdriver attachment. Okay, opened it right up. He goes, I need to carry a pocket knife.
I wish I could at work. I feel naked when I'm not at work. I work scrubs, so
I can't
any pockets. And in the nursing home, you don't need to be carrying a pocket knife anyhow. But I feel better when I have one. I generally, well, I do now. Want to see it?
Go ahead.
It's scary. Ooh. Oh, it's a Kershaw. My first assisted open I ever had. It's beautiful. My mother-in-law gave it to me.
This is not my regular pocket knife. Carry this in the rack.
Oh! The gym that I work out at, it used to be called the Body Fair, now it's called Keystone Strength. The young couple that bought it, they're both in the Air Force Reserve. And there was this really cool knife, a bench-made knife, just like that, assisted open, sitting there. I'm like, well, where'd you get that knife? Oh, we were issued that. I'm like, you assholes. When I was in, same time you were in, we had the absolute crappiest of equipment. We didn't get knives issued to us.
Mine was issued to me, just never found its way back.
When I got in, out in 93, they still weren't issuing anything cool. They weren't even giving out Vortex yet. You still have the old school.
Oh yeah, I bought my own goodness.
But yeah, I'm like, you Air Force assholes. When I was in the Army, we had to dig holes and poop in it. You guys stay in hotels. Jerks.
Well, I brought my own K-bar with me. In the rack.
I had a knife I had taped to my LCE. Mine was more of a dagger type.
Well, Daryl actually told me that. Good thing I didn't lose that because it's supposed to be a rare K-bar.
Nice.
My worth something. So I had some $20 I paid for it. I don't know. You got, hey, $20. Cheers. Okay. With the gun show too. Years ago. Oh, what else can we?
So here we got another story. Colt suspends production of the AR-15 for the civilian market.
Good price anyway.
Somebody posted, or I read something about that, and they were making a big deal about how it's gun control. Like, well, no, it's not gun control. If you read the article, it's one of the things is they're focusing on law enforcement military because they can't sell the expensive ones because the market's saturated by the more affordable.
Well, that's exactly what they're saying here. There's an adequate supply of sporting rifles on the market, and that they're not permanently ending production.
Yeah, just
But said in a statement Thursday, the company will concentrate on fulfilling military and law enforcement contracts with its rifle manufacturer.
the article saying what they sell theirs for. Or, no.
Nope.
I know price-wise the upper end, but you know you can buy one for 300, 400.
Yeah, you can get a Palmetto State Armory.
Yeah, well, I was just about to say, a buddy of mine, he just come over the other night to show me and the old man. He built his first AR-15. We polluted his mind and took him up to the big woods and put him behind a couple toys, and he's like, boy, I gotta fucking make one of these.
That's all it takes.
He bought himself an 80% and milled it out, popped some holes, and built his own, and he did it for about $450, which is, I think, a little bit on the high side, personally.
But I mean, I was watching a YouTube gun guy before they cracked down, and he was a gunsmith or a gun dealer, and he was talking about how guys are, like what I did, I bought a complete AR-15, and how, you know, and then you go out and you put this, you tweak it this, and you put this trigger in it, and this, and this, and this, and this. What you should do is do what that guy did. He bought it bare bones, and then pieced it together the way he wanted. That way he didn't waste his money on the extra doodads and
Well, he did waste his money on the extra doodads. He put a set trigger on, or not a set trigger, competition style trigger on it, hair trigger. So I mean, you breathe on it and the thing will go off. I told him, you know, for a combat rifle, you kind of want a little slop in that, so when you throw yourself on the ground, you don't shoot yourself in the ass.
or shoot your buddy in the ass.
Oh, embarrassing to do that. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Put a second hole there. What comments we have with the chat?
Oh, they're just
Anything worthwhile you want to talk about, mention?
made my first kill at recess.
Oy, oy, oy.
Pretty sure that's Winterborn there.
I wouldn't doubt it.
People saying hi. Sure wish you guys would say something interesting. Maybe if I agitate them, they'll say something.
Oh.
Here we go. I'm gonna vote for Beto O'Rourke. He's good.
I don't think he'll make it.
No.
He ain't gonna. Beto O'Rourke ain't gonna make it to. I'm even curious if Sanders will make it.
I just don't think that any of them, you know, obviously they want Biden because name recognition, but I don't think he physically can do it. Elizabeth Warren, in her Pocahontas or whatever Pocahontas, whatever they call her, I don't think I don't see anybody out there that's got a good enough platform and a strong enough personality to really challenge the juggernaut that is Donald Trump, unless the Democrats get their way.
Well, truth be told, I don't know as if Donald Trump is the absolute juggernaut people make him out to be. I think he's in a pretty tenuous situation, and that's part of the reason why he can't fulfill all the promises he made, because now that he's in office, he realizes, oh, well, shit, I need the cooperation of everybody else.
Yeah.
I can't just come in and be a bull in a china shop and do all this stuff.
Well,
that's why he's got to play the political game and try the best that he can with what means he has to do what he promised.
Well, I guess what I was getting at by juggernaut was, like, you know, the whole MAGA hats and you know, his rallies are just people line up around the block. I mean, that kind of support, what I'm saying.
Well, there's no doubt that he's got at least half the country behind him. I mean,
Sure.
That's why he was elected. But at the same time, as far as the publicity, yeah, I mean, of course he's a publicity juggernaut. Has he not been in the news at least one night? I mean, I don't watch the
Well, I
news.
know
have Daryl to do that
he
for me,
fires
but-
from the hip, and sometimes it's like, okay, why did you do that? Why did you write that? Why did you say that?
But
He wasn't built to be a politician. He just, you know, in a way, we don't need more politicians. We actually need what the Constitution, what the founding fathers thought about was, People come in, they're farmers, they're businessmen, they're whatever. They serve for a while, move, and then go back home. Not career politicians. That's what part of the problem in the country is. We have career politicians that have been in the office, what, 25, 30, 40 years maybe, or something, you know, again. What's Feinstein? She's what, 84?
She's 198. She was born
Pelosi, I think,
so-
79. Maxine Waters is 80. Why don't you guys home playing with the grandkids, the great-grandkids or something like that, you know, instead of...
Because they're making too much dang
Oh,
good
yeah.
money.
Yeah.
But the Democrats do a phenomenal job of promoting Donald Trump. He's always in the news. They're always talking about him. There's always something going on. He does his job, and somehow they twist it and try to turn it into, oh, that evil bastard. He's doing this.
Well, part of the reason is that he's doing things that they couldn't get done on a positive side of the economy. But then again, there's socialists and communists, so
Well, according to... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
good.
According to Canbias,
Cannabis.
the Hildebeest will win the Dem primary just like last time. She'll steal it.
Emily.
I'm
Emily.
tongue in cheek.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true either. I think she's out.
Yeah.
I think after 2016, her.
I know there's speculation because they, you know, Hillary and Pocahontas were seen together. You know, Pocahontas and Hillary, they win. Pocahontas steps down. Hillary becomes president. Yeah, right. Okay. Or Pocahontas dies in office somehow, mysteriously. If we're, you know,
I think it's, you know, going on a completely sideways rant about the Hildebeest. It's amazing how little the media has talked about the Clintons. Mind you, I don't watch the news, but I keep up with it through my various web sources. Since that whole Epstein thing exploded, the Clinton name has not been bandied about the way it was before that. You know, a lot of people said, "Oh yeah, he was Clinton or whatever, he was Hillary, yeah, whatever." But I mean, I think
Clinton side or something. Clinton
Yeah.
side,
Yeah, I just think-
Arkansas side.
Shot himself twice in the head with a revolver.
with all the negative press around that whole Epstein nonsense, I think that especially Bill Clinton, that side of the whole Clinton world got very verboten.
Yeah. Well, I think let's say that Vince Foster, he shot him out 3 times in the back of the head.
Oh, we got 15 minutes until the top of the hour break.
Okay.
So you want to hold hands and sing Kumbaya? We feel it.
Here's a good one. We were actually just talking about this at work. This whole thing with Iran, with everything cooking up over there.
We should let them, people over there, fight it out amongst themselves.
Well, I think you're right, but
When back in the Iranian hostage situation crisis,
I remember that.
my dad being a chemical engineer, he said what you ought to do is turn their desert into glass and just slide right in. Which meant was okay. You heat sand, and they use in the glass making it so that, you know, let's get some nukes, make that nice shiny desert, and just take over. You know.
I dare say the whole Iran thing is it's a lose-lose situation.
It's distractor for something else.
Yeah, if the U.S. does get involved, we're the bad guys. If we don't get involved, we're the bad guys. Because we're siding with this person.
We have
about that.
sold or given to the Saudis billions of dollars worth of stuff. And they're not capable of fighting for themselves? I don't know.
Is there any of that stuff in the little brown bottle left? I wondered if I did not care for that.
really?
Yeah, there was a aftertaste or a finish
You know what?
that didn't
Oh,
really.
it's a cork on red.
It didn't sit well with me. It reminded me more of tequila than it did the.
I know last week Daryl
How
talked
does that
about
remind
bringing
you
down
of
some
an Irish whiskey?
Yeah, it had the aftertaste of tequila for me.
Really?
And it was just. It wasn't bad. It was
Yeah.
not good. It was just like.
No kidding.
I'll stick with
When
my-
Daryl goes back, we asked him, hey, Did you get the rum? Because he wanted to drink a toast to, to Mike. Oh, okay.
There ain't much left. I don't know if that's any good there.
It'll be fine.
There's rum up in the house, so.
Oh.
But, the guy at work, he was saying, he's joking around, he's going to wake up one morning and there will be footage of a helicopter. Well, we've been flying 2 hours and there's still no end to the crater. Iran's gone. Joke's on them, they thought we were out of bombs. But I told them I'd probably quit my job and enlist too if we went to war, but they didn't want to hear that.
Never do.
I'd be subject to recall.
I just, the whole thing with Iran, should we get involved? Maybe. But what's really going on over there? I mean,
We're certainly only hearing what they want us to know. That's such a closed society. Oh, come on now!
Who dare call me?
Flip phone. I didn't think they even made those anymore.
here they're saying that Zarek.
Oh, this guy from where? Might be a good time for a move.
I don't know if that's how you pronounce that, Zarif, but Iran's Zarif threatens all-out war if military strike on Iran is carried out. As far as all-out war, you won't win.
They have no capacity for, doing anything more than just like regional. It's not like they're going to invade the United States. Or even invade Europe. There's just...
I was talking to Junior.
They're already invading Europe then. Islamists.
I was talking to Junior the other night too. I says to him, boy, we could fight a casualty-less war over there. We could bomb these people back into the Stone Ages and not lose one person. But we don't. But as far as this is going...
Actually, that was talked about the Vietnam War, the bomb back in the Stone Age, and that didn't quite work out so well.
It's kind of hard to bomb them back into the Stone Age. We could kill a bunch of them if we can find them.
Well,
what are we supposed to do? Dump Agent
but the North
and just go, well, you ain't
they went underground. They built factories and whatnot underground.
Yeah.
And then for the longest time we couldn't. Cause I missed Vietnam by just not that many years. But we, you couldn't bomb Haiphong or Harbor. Couldn't do anything because we didn't want to dare hit the Russian and Chinese supply ships that were in the harbor.
Well, we were just talking about that last time we were on the air. We can't fight war the way that we ought to fight it to win because goddamn civilians are involving themselves and the government's poking their nose in business that they... Alright, if we're going to get involved overseas and you tell us, let's win the war, alright, we're going to win the war, but keep your nose out of it. Alright, we got to kill the enemy to win the war. We can't, go over there and hug it out, They're communists too. We got to go over there and we got to stomp them into the ground. And
I mentioned before that the rules when you in Afghanistan used to be like Iraq. Somebody puts a weapon at you, take them out. Can't do that anymore. In Afghanistan, if they point a weapon at you, you have to wait till they shoot first.
it's too late.
Well, somebody it's going to be too late.
Once the bullet's coming at your head, yeah.
And those people, officers especially, that went against that policy or took, he's planting a mine, we'll take him out. There's people still in prison, military prison. They violated the rules of engagement.
I had a professor when I was in college. He actually only lasted half a semester because he was military intelligence and he got activated. So it was a military history course, and one of the things that came up is, and this is a military officer. I think he's retired now. He was a lieutenant colonel. He's like, the only way you can really win a war is total war. You can't go in like in Vietnam and bomb here. Oh no, you can't bomb there. You can shoot here, but you can't shoot there. You go in, you decimate. Like Dresden in World War II. Just eliminate them. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, you eliminated everything. You kill them until they get tired of being killed. And then you kill them a little mile longer just to let them know you can still kill more people. Total war, it's called. That's the only way, I mean, because you can see what's going on now. We're in this unending quagmire fighting terrorism. Well, when I was in the military, as with you, we were, it was heart of the Cold War. We had the Russians. We knew what the Russians were because they wore the Russian uniform. They drove the Russian tanks. But now, you got guys in civilian, tracksuits and sandals shooting around the corner and then running back to the coffee shop. Or they're making...
Militaris, be good guy.
Yeah. They're putting IEDs out in the middle of nowhere hoping to kill somebody.
Yeah.
So
I know.
It's absurd. I say, get out of it.
I think...
Let them handle their own business.
WW2 was basically the last total war. I think some people are like, no, we just can't do that again. We just,
Too many civilian casualties.
Well, when you literally bomb cities, yeah. That was the RAF. They wanted to bomb the cities because they wanted, okay, if we could kill the factory workers, then they can't work in the factories because they're dead. So we'll kill the cities and let the Army, Air Force, bomb the factories and stuff.
Well, that was the idea. They didn't intentionally target, civilian populations. Now,
they did. The RAF did literally bomb civilians, targets, cities. They didn't. It delivered. I got a book on. It talked about what they did and why. And then they deliberately bombed cities.
Bombing factories, armaments,
but that's
things like that.
Our Air Force
it's not like they came in and carpet bombed the whole civilian housing.
They're placing down there. Yeah, they bombed railroads and stuff, but then they didn't mind taking out whole city blocks and neighborhoods. Just,
Well, Dresden.
Yeah.
Bombing Cologne, Dresden. 80,000 in one pop.
Of course, we could say the same thing about, we bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We took out pretty much a lot of the city. But we're fighting a different mentality in Japan versus the Germans. The Germans, once Hitler was gone, we're more German than Salt Lake. We're not going to win this game. We got to find a way to end it. Japan, they were actually ready to try to attack them again. And there was actually going to be an uprising of the Japanese officer corps against those that wanted to stop the war. They wanted to prolong it. They wanted to fight. Go ahead, let them invade. We'll fight them on not on the beach, but in our cities everywhere. And they had stockpiled weapons, ammunition, aircraft.
By the time that we were getting ready to invade the main island of Japan, the southernmost island, the largest one, they had 3 million troops still on the mainland, and they were going to fight to the last.
Yeah.
They were arming their civilians with sharpened sticks.
This is one of the reasons why we went nuclear or atomic on them, to convince them, hey, you don't want to do that. So, anyway, the cooler heads, I guess, calmer heads prevail, thank goodness. I know one more email with a move, but I think we'll wait until Daryl gets back, because he might need a move.
Getting off of World War II, here's something I just pulled up on my Facebook feed. This is that Ilhan Omar, one of the congressmen. She's from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Here's her own Twitter words. I am America's hope and the president's nightmare. I think all white men should be put in chains as slaves because they will never submit to Islam.
I have no intention of submitting to Islam.
I gotta find the actual tweet of that. But
I'm not on Twitter, so
let me tell you, I don't understand how it's acceptable. Because, if I was a Republican congressman and I went and said, well, I don't like colored folks, and they'll never submit to the white people, so we should just enslave them again. Boy, the shitstorm that would ensue.
Oh, it would be an all-out urban warfare.
I'd probably be arrested, locked up.
Hate crime.
tried,
Hate crime, exactly.
But a woman of color that happens to be a Muslim can put that on social media, and that's acceptable.
Yeah, everyone's just like, well, I don't understand why there is such a need to appease the radical elements of the faith of Islam.
I've been put in Facebook jail for 30 days, 3 times or 4 times. That's not counting the other stuff, okay? And mostly because of some comment that I made generally against Islam, which was taboo, because Zuckerberg and his minions apparently just, you can't say anything nasty about Islam. You can say anything, any Protestant sect, Catholicism, Judaism, somewhat, but Islam, that's, you can't say a negative thing about him, as true as it may be.
And I don't understand. I can understand, bad mouthing, the extreme radical aspects of Christianity. Yeah, you're an idiot. And people will say that with no recourse. But when you start saying anything negative about Islam, my goodness. Hate. Well, yeah. Because
Yeah, they tried to kill me.
Too long ago, though, that I think it was her and another female Islamic congresswoman. Was the both of them were on in Congress saying or making anti-Semitic remarks.
Yeah, the other one, she wore glasses.
I can't remember that.
Yeah.
Arab 1 and Arab 2 were in Congress saying something, but I don't understand how that's acceptable. If anybody else would have done that, you'd be stepping out of office, or I don't know if you can impeach a congressperson or how that works, but I just can't imagine.
The hierarchy will try to, you best resign now.
Yeah. So I just don't understand. And it blows my mind when I hear about that stuff, and it's like, this is where we're at. We have 2 radical Islamists in Congress that are helping vote and make decisions for, the entire nation, of whom the majority is white Christian folk. Not for long, but I just don't understand how we got here. Good Lord.
People like you, you're bad, Randall. Bad.
I know.
Bad. Scott, good. You bad.
I just think, as a whole, say, Scott, you hand me a Dr. Pepper from in there.
Dr. Pepper.
Christ, that ain't hardly cold.
I'm sorry.
Didn't look like you shook that up before you gave it to me.
I didn't.
Well, it's 7 o'clock. Let's take a 5-minute break.
All right, folks, we'll be back. Jesus Christ, why won't I? smoky dope and listen to rock and roll, and you'll end up like this guy I worked with. 50 years of that. You'll end up like Bucky. Boy, you don't want to be like him. You'll be dressing up in great clothing, shooting muzzle loaders, and oh shit, you probably done most of that. Okay.
I don't dare smoke.
Yeah. I was actually, I'm fairly familiar with that. A buddy of mine, his mother is, I'm pretty sure she's a nurse working in the mental ward down in Spencer. And boy, let me tell you, she's got an opiate and a drinking problem. She's a nurse. I don't know how to keep up with it because I know every time I see her, she always looks like she's strung out on something. At least something. 706. Going back.
Yep.
I think that's right.
Now turn that on and see. Yep.
Why, hello,
Back.
party people.
Yeah, we're back. He's fine. Yep. We're back. And Daryl's not. I think business hours are what, 7:30?
It's something the old lady
Yeah. Terrible.
thing.
Okay, well. Anything in the chat room you might want to cover here while we wait for Daryl to get back? Kind of out of stories.
When you were in the military, what was your, how long were you in?
Between active reserve, 29 years.
29 years. So, what was your favorite training? What do you remember most that you would love to do again?
I love training in Germany, West Germany at that time, you know. Especially when we set up in the Bavarian Highlands, I guess you want to call them, toward the border.
Beautiful.
And you find out there's a news colony.
Oh, I was stationed outside of Nuremberg. I never saw any nudist colony. But they did have those interesting little, what they call them, swimbots?
Swimbots, yes.
And over there, gals, was,
Yes.
they all, not all of them, but
Most of them. Topless, I know.
Topless. And then it was, hairy armpits, but you got to see boobs, so. It was kind of...
What about the big fat efflumps that run around with tits down to their, stomach?
Man, don't see
Do
those.
you catch most of them, or?
No.
Well,
The fairly confident women were the ones that were out there, like, I have big...
The ones you saw at the indoor or outdoor swim bots, or swimming pools, they were the kind that would gladly go in public, and expose their breasts and not, worry about sagging so much.
most of the ones that I noticed, because there was one just down from our post, it was when they were like sunning themselves that they were topless. If they got up to like go play soccer or badminton, they would usually put their top.
Well,
on.
I lived in the economy all 3 years we were there, 37 months.
That's a term I haven't heard.
And we loved it. Okay, I mean, we had our landlord was a Czechoslovakian political refugee. Okay, who married a West German woman, whose father was in the German Wehrmacht, captured by American forces in North Africa, and spent the rest of the war in the POW camp outside of Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, wow.
Where he acquired the taste for turkey.
Wild turkey or?
No, the turkey. Gobbling go. Yeah, so at Thanksgiving and Christmas, we made sure he got turkey. And in return, we got some nice stuff. Drinking stuff. So, and actually me, him, and talking with him and meeting other folks in the area that were former Wehrmacht soldiers. To a man, they actually regretted that they had to be forced into the military and end up doing what they did.
You know, it was what you did. I mean, you got caught up in it.
They did. But anyway, we lived in they had the first floor area, we had the second floor, and then above us was on the third floor were two separate, they call economy apartments. And I forget exactly when in my tour, the one apartment was taken over by a very young, very attractive woman, blonde hair, and she used to sunbathe in the backyard, topless. And the landlord spent a lot of time out talking with her. But she got him in trouble with his wife, of course.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
But it was funny because she was pregnant at the time with her first. My wife was pregnant with her third. They back and forth on things, you know. And she was still a nurse and all that stuff. So they engaged in good conversation about child care and what's going on. And
When were you over there?
April '84 to May of '87.
Oh my.
And I have my own garage for my Reliant K station wagon. And a neighbor, catty corner, he was actually in the side street, but he was an American sergeant, been there at that time, I think 10 years. He married a German girl, and we're going to stay alone in the army, but let him stay in Europe, you know. So I figured, well, let's see, 10 years, that's equivalent to 3 tours.
Yeah, that's odd.
But they were a nice couple to talk to, you know, and my wife and his wife got to be pretty close, and she was like, "Oh, your husband's different. He's an officer, and my husband's a sergeant, but they just talk like, you know, buddies." That's it.
Like when you're off work.
Well, he was not in my unit. Okay, he was not artillery, which I was at the time. He was what he was. But hey, it's socialized after hours, and you know, like how are your day or whatever kids me, or maybe drink a beer or two in the weekends or something, and they need a babysitter for okay, you know, watch your kids. You know.
Where were you stationed?
Nuremberg Milcom,
Oh.
and stayed about 3 years in lovely Zerndorf.
I was in Erlangen, which is
Been there a few times.
45 minutes. Little Ferris Barracks, which it's no longer a post anymore.
You know, and none of the places I've been to.
I like going to the William O. Darby Concern.
That's gone.
God, there was whenever I'd go there, there was a gyro stamp just off post, and it was like not that crappy meat loaf they had. No, they had like old school Greeks, and they.
That's my first.
Hangover medicine.
Yeah. Darby was first, and then Pinder, my second half of the tour. Pinder, actually, I rode my bike sometimes at Darby. A lot of times at Pinder, it was like a mile away, thereabouts. And that's how I ran into then Brigadier General Shally Kazvili.
Oh.
He was a Brigadier General. He was the ADC for the 1st Armored Division. I'm sorry. I'm actually met when I was in Nuremberg, but I saw him a lot of times when I was at Peterborough, because he would drive past me. I'd ride my bike in, and he'd drive past me. He'd wave my way.
I thought it was pretty interesting, you know, like the whole, everything over there is so compact, especially where we were, that, you know, everybody, the bike riders, they were given a special spot on the sidewalk. And there were special train cars to put your bikes, because if you wanted to, take your train from, like, say, here to Erie, throw your bike on, and just get off there. And there's bike racks everywhere. I mean,
and guys figured out when we're going to have an alert, because the local journal paper would publish the day prior. Make sure if you park on, this road, this avenue, don't park your cars there, because American armored vehicle will be rolling out.
oh my gosh.
So, oh, tomorrow. Okay.
I heard all kinds of horror stories from the tankers about driving through these little towns and trying to go around these corners in the back
Busted.
gas end of a tank,
Yeah.
catching the side of a building.
Oh, yeah.
And if you run over a chicken, not only do you pay for that chicken, you pay for like how many generations?
I forgot that, but yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Maneuver damage.
It was horrible over
I
there.
remember we went to, it was March of 80, how many was it, 80? It was 85? Yeah, 85. We're going to go in the field. It had rained up till the day we left deployed. It snowed that day.
Oh God.
And I remember driving around, we were going from where we Service Battery, Headquarters Battery set up to somewhere anyway, and come around this curve, and here's 60 tank pull off what I thought was a nice spot, sank.
Oh my. What they do, call in an M88? Two. Oh,
It sank. Okay, the other upper return rollers. That's how deep it went down.
oh my
I
God.
mean, you look at that ground, you think, wow, they just pulled right off.
What's that, 2-3 feet almost?
I feel like this, but it sank. It took 288s.
In 88, it's about half the size of the house, the two of them. I remember sitting in the motor pool, and when they would drive those things by, you just, everything.
I had to pull him out.
Oh.
That-
Uh-oh, my phone's dead.
Anyway, try to kill time. But I miss Germany. I like Germany, especially the nice big pretzels they had. Chris Kimmel worked here in Nuremberg.
The gentleman that rents our one outbuilding, Eric Sass, he's from Germany. He still speaks with a real thick German accent. We got chit-chatting about Glühwein, that hot wine they serve around.
Oh, yeah.
Every little intersection, like in the main squares around all the holidays.
Yeah, I
It's
think.
this awful German wine. They heat it up and they serve with little cinnamon sticks. It was terrible, but I don't like wine. But it was very traditional. Ah, jeez. Here he comes.
Daryl's back. Yay!
Captain Stinkheimer.
Yeah. I stopped and watered in the cow patio while I was on the way home.
Huh?
I said I stopped and watered in the cow patio on my way home.
Oh,
Huh?
okay.
Chair back.
Yeah. How you been doing?
Well, we're out of stories, so we've been kind of
Chatting.
Chatting. Chit chat. Chit chat show.
You want to sit over here?
Oh, it don't matter to me.
How was the missus?
Not good.
Not good.
No, that's not the same as she was yesterday after she got that, had that shot at her. So I don't know how long or what's going on, but I sure as hell hope the doctor changes her medicine because she's back to this.
Oh boy.
Okay?
my mom did that. Something that.
And
William Warner said we should do a move.
what's that?
I said, William Moore texted me and said we need to do a move.
Move!
I will not be mooing.
No, but you'll show your moon once in a while.
I will bury my hiney for all to see.
Oh, now did anybody talk to him about the fundraiser with the flags?
No.
Nope.
Oh, good. They got here a good time. We got what, about 35 minutes left to go?
Yeah, about 40.
About 40. Want to get the flag back there, Bones? We'll see if anybody's interested.
backwards. Say,
Have to turn it around.
get it backwards.
Anybody see that? I can't tell you what's going on. Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
you gotta let the camera catch up to you, man. Man, what's that? Yeah.
Okay. You've seen enough of it to know what we're talking about here. I ordered 10, I only got 5. So if anybody's interested in buying one, like I told you, the money would go to keeping the show on the air. Especially since now Mother's back in the hospital and I now have the added expenses of wasting gasoline every day to go visit. Well, it's not really wasting, but some phrase that. Using gasoline every day to go see her. And I don't know if I'm going to have to buy some new medicines for her. So, anyway, $15 for the flag. Like I said, you get most places probably sell it to you for 10 or 12.
I thought we were doing 20 because you were going to sign each other.
We're going to sign it. If you want one, we're going to sign it. All of us will autograph it. And we send $5 for postage to send it back. So that's where the 20 comes in. $5 for the postage to send it. So, but we're not going to sign any until we get somebody that wants one. Because I'm going to take them to the... When I don't sell, I'm going to take to the gun show and sell them there. So,
I'm sure you will.
yeah. Last time I had people asking for them when I ran out, And,
It's October.
but an update on Mom, she's not the calm, cool, collected she was last night. That shot was still working on her last night. It wore off now. So she's slipped back some.
Oh boy.
So, that's why I do believe that the doctor is going to have to change the medicine. Because I'm not going to want to have another repeat of what I had Friday night.
That's horrifying.
And like I said, in all the years that I've done, I did ambulance calls and stuff, and picked people up in strange moods, in strange configurations. I never seen anything like that. And I don't think the emergency room doctor had seen anything quite like that either. Because he kept coming back in and, has she done this before? No. And raised her hand, it stayed there. Even when he told her to put it down, and she wouldn't do it, she just held it there. So he grabbed a hold of it and he said, okay, we're going to put it down. It would stay down. He raised her leg. The only time the leg went down is when he raised the other leg.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I mean, she would hold it there for probably all night if you let her.
Speaking of drugs, it's just not about your missus, but I had the opportunity to speak with the county coroner here about 3 weeks ago. Every now and then, if a resident passes away within 30 days of a fall, the coroner has to be notified, just all the protocol. Well, he didn't get all the information he needed, so he called back, and I was getting into the chart, waiting for the computer to log on, and it was right after that Yahoo killed his ex-wife, or his stepmom and half-brother.
Oh,
And I alluded to the fact, I'm like, well, I guess you guys have been pretty busy lately. He's like, yep, one a day. I'm like, what do you mean one a day? In Crawford County, he's been having one overdose death a day recently. That's, I mean, for a big city, yeah, that's, you'd think, but little Crawford County, I didn't ask what it was. I'm guessing opiates of some sort. And did you see in the paper where that 25-year-old kid killed himself? Veteran. Yeah, he was something Lee. The 25-year-old, I'm not sure where he served or what his past history was, but I was speaking with another nurse who knew about the situation, and apparently he killed himself in front of his wife. So, all I can think of is, what sort of horror was that guy going through in his mind to do that? Mm-hmm. In my younger years, I'd have been like, oh, sissy, suck it up. But, you know, having a few years going through this, you know, seeing stuff, I mean, like,
Well, you know, it's strange that you should bring that up because I was watching one of the news channels and they were having some people on there talking. And we have made it, in our society, we have made it so sissified that kids cannot handle stress, okay? Because they're not being exposed to it. It's all being removed while they're trying to grow up. So when they do get a situation where they are not protected from the stress, they can't handle it. Okay, and that's why we're seeing a rise in suicides, not only with opioids, but the opioids are the escape because they can't handle reality. Now, as far as this veterans go,
22 a day killed themselves.
yeah, as far as veterans go, they're exposed to a crack of shit over there. Okay, and when they come home, they're not taken anywhere and given time to be decompressed, or, oh, it's not decompressed. What was the term they used to use for talking to a vet after, or a soldier after he got out of the mission?
I know. When I left Iraq, before I left Iraq, in 05, everybody going out had to talk to a shrink.
Yeah, but one time
Right.
talking to a shrink don't help.
And they had, and he had to evaluate. Well, he or she had to drive an evaluation of whether any further such conversation need to occur stateside.
Yeah, but
But decompression is.
not decompression. That's debriefing's the word I'm looking for.
Well, debriefing was there. No, and what was interesting though, okay, we're in Iraq, and you could get your a 2-week leave. Okay, so you're one day you're in Iraq, next day you're down in Kuwait, and somewhere you're flying back, and then same day, next day maybe you're flying to the States.
Stateside, yeah.
And then, you know, whatever your case, on this day you report back to where the airport is, you know. In my case, I had to fly from Pittsburgh to Atlanta. Okay, so I'm in Atlanta, and meet up with all the other people who were flying out in this charter airplane. We fly from Atlanta to Kuwait City, and then the following day we're all flown up, flown up to various places in Iraq. We're back in the war zone, so you don't have really, if you had a lot of things on your mind, you don't have a lot of time to decompress before you get home. And hopefully you don't do anything stupid at home before you come back to
The one book I read regarding like PTSD and whatnot, and the guy is a retired lieutenant colonel. He got his degree in psychology. He interviewed everybody from what few living World War I vets he could get his hands on, up all the way up through Vietnam and whatnot. And he said one of the reasons that he figures that like people from like the Korea and more Vietnam had such a hard time adjusting compared to World War I and World War II is, like say Vietnam for instance, you got drafted, you did your year, you out-processed, you went home. You went from your butthole puckered every day, hoping you're not going to get killed, to looking for a job, someone throwing poop at you. Whereas like in World War II, after it was over, the guys were loaded on ships and they were sent back home, but you had that, however long you were on the ship, together with your buddies, and you were able to blow off that steam, and you were able to get that out together with other people who were in that same situation or very similar situations. Whereas, Rambo comes back from Vietnam, there's me, Joe Smith, down at the bar, corking stuff down. I've never gone anywhere. Suck it up, kid! I don't know what you went through. I think I do it because I watched a TV show. I watched a couple John Wayne movies. But
that's what I'm getting at. The last several ventures that this government has sent our troops on, They do not have a proper time period for them to be debriefed.
Unwind.
For every day in combat, they should have at least one day you taking off.
Packing the shit.
Oh, packing your shit. They should
Maybe
have
not
at least,
yet.
they should have at least one day of still doing their in-service time, but under psychiatric watch. That should go on for at least a year. You just can't have one episode with him and the guy says, well, he's okay, he don't need no more. Because there's always the delayed reaction that they don't pick up, which comes out later when he's doing something at home or runs across somebody that gives him a bunch of shit. Has no idea what he went through in combat, okay? But they give him a bunch of shit. And it boils down to the fact that we are protecting our children. We do not tell them no. We do not allow them to be disappointed. We do not allow them to handle stress. Well, by God, if you got a bully beating up on you, why, you just go tell the principal and she'll take care of the bully. No, take care of the bully yourself. Punch him in the friggin' mouth and nose, and he'll leave you alone 9 times out of 10.
I wait till the last day of school to do that.
That way they can suspend you until next year. I have a comment here. It says, give us an address. Okay, my address is 99...
I'm
See
gonna
us.
get out.
Okay, see you, Scott. 9931 Williamson
I'll
Road,
take your name.
Meadville, PA. 16335. That's the targeting code. Again,
Drones.
that's 9931 Williamson Road, Meadville, PA. 16335. That is the zip code, by the way. Actually, like I said, the Department of Defense drone targeting code. So, bye, Scotty.
Oh yeah, last week there was a drill held in Pittsburgh.
There was a what?
A drill exercise between with the military and FEMA and the local crowd down there. And I know prior to this drill taking place, in fact, the article was people in Pittsburgh should expect to see helicopters and hear explosions and simulated gunfire, but don't worry about it. It's all an exercise.
Oh, at one time, that happened once before, years ago.
Well, the day before the exercise kicked off, I had 3 Apache helicopters fly over the farm, east to west, going toward Ohio. Now, I know they were going to the Youngstown airport down there, and that's where they were going to stay, or maybe Ravenna, and then based out of there to fly Pittsburgh. And then, I think the last day of the exercise, 2 flew back. Two Apaches flew over the farm going east.
Before you...
And then, I'm sorry, and before the exercise kicked off, we had OH-58 fly over the farm heading toward Pittsburgh in that general direction.
Yeah, before you got involved with the show, and this is probably several years before that, they were doing those exercises around different spots in the country. And they were performing one at night in Pittsburgh. Didn't tell anybody it was happening. Okay? And they were gunfire, flares, and flashbang grenades, simulations. Well, some of the people in Pittsburgh got on the roof of their homes with their rifles and started shooting.
Hey.
Okay? That was supposed to be a 2-week-long exercise. It only went for 2 days.
Gee, I wonder why.
I have no idea why. But you can't go in and tell the people you're going to do this, or don't tell the people you're going to do this, because that's the reaction they're going to get. With a bunch of terrorists around here, if they can hijack a couple 747, what's to prevent them from hijacking or stealing a couple helicopters, okay, and fly around? And people at night aren't going to be able to distinguish what they are because they're not a trained eye, and they see gunfire coming from them. What would you expect?
Shoot back.
Shoot back. Exactly. And So you can't do that stuff on an urban area. And besides that, military bases used to have mock towns for carrying that kind of stuff out based on the mission that they were going to go to, like over in the sandbox. Or in Vietnam, they had the grass huts and bamboo huts and stuff that all set up like a small Vietnamese village or whatever. But
Fort Indian Town Gap had something back in '06. Wasn't very elaborate. But I think Camp Atterbury in Indiana, I can't remember where it is in relation to Indianapolis anymore. They put in a great training site. It's a mount site, military operation, urbanized terrain, and that's used by National Guard, I think even active Army. I'm trying to think, there's another one. Maybe Fort Benning, Georgia now, I think may have one. They train down there.
well, the point is that they have the facilities on their own bases or have the space on their own basis to put up whatever type of city situation that they want. Yeah, does it cost money? Yeah, it does, okay? But we're training our troops, not scaring the shit out of our populace. Okay, at least why he's not supposed to be scaring the shit out of our populace.
See, I'm trying to think of the Black Hawk helicopter or two decided to land the pasture behind the house and start discharging troops. Gee, is this an exercise for the ATF?
Yeah. So anyway, did you guys get my address that I put out? Scott's gone. Cannabis. Boy, so far, fall has been beautiful. Beautiful, great weather. Yeah, I know, but it's too hot.
And fall begins tomorrow, so this is the last day of summer. Hot day today. Cold front will come through tomorrow and bring storms sometime.
Yeah, it's supposed to hit this afternoon, or this evening, but from what I've seen, it's moving very, very slow. And
Well, as our local forecast guy, we may see something Sunday evening, but best chance is going to be late Monday morning in the afternoon. The cold front comes through and
yeah,
fire
68 degrees I hear tell unless they change it.
I don't know what. Yeah, they keep changing it. The rain. Which is good. Well, if it rains tomorrow, that's fine. Because we are not even half. We should have for the month of September for the rainfall.
Our comments about training on military bases. This comes from Canada. Just use Dearborn. It's ready for invasion. Dearbornistan.
Emily, I've been to Dearborn years back. Went there for a wedding, and yes, there's a lot of buildings that they've been bombed out, burned out, or at least covered up. Great places to train, and you could probably blow up a building and burn it, and okay, it'd blend in with the rest of them.
And you wouldn't have to hire any character actors to
No.
run around with a mask over your face, wearing tents, and with a little slit to look
This
at.
one, they look pretty odd. The odd people running around that don't speak English too well.
Yeah. And, so.
Live fire exercise. Oop, did I say that?
Hey, well, according to this, it's 7:38, folks. We got another half hour to go.
22 minutes.
22 minutes. So, anyway, yeah, did everybody get my address that I put out? That I want to know. And, hey, Bones, take the chair.
Take the chair.
Yeah, take the chair.
Take the chair.
Take the chair.
Take the chair.
They want to see Bones the Butcher.
Electrified.
You didn't know you were a movie star, did you?
Bedazzled.
He's a TV star, Kansas City Star, or he is. So, anyway,
Anybody know the Steelers won or not?
Last I heard on the way home, at 2 minutes to go, they were leading 20-17. But as I pulled in the driveway, San Francisco scored a touchdown and made the extra point, and the Steelers had a minute and 15 or a minute and 20 seconds
So they
left.
could be 0-3 now.
Yeah.
Wow.
When I go home, when I go up to the house, not that I'm that big of a football fan anymore. I find it very hard to maintain interest. But seeing as how the Cleveland Browns are
They were 1-1.
2-1,
2-1. Oh,
Two.
okay.
or no, 1-1.
1-1. I know that.
And they play tonight, so I'm going to watch them. But I have to say, I watched part of the game last week when they played against Le'Veon Bell, the Steeler running back, and they basically handed him his suitcase. Okay? They contained him real well. And the other idiot from the Steelers that left, Antonio Brown, got axed from the New England Patriots.
Yeah, I heard that.
And I can't say that I'm sorry. I can't say that. You're going to play around and screw around. Maybe it's true, maybe it ain't true, but if you're going to play around with today's society the way it is, you better figure that somebody's going to come up, especially a female type, and say something whether you did or didn't, because they want money. And being
Guilty
that
until
you're a
proven innocent.
multi-million-dollar a year player, you got money. Used to be, we called them gold diggers. Okay.
Yeah, way back when.
That's way back when. Used to call them gold diggers.
Well, I think Antonio's out of job. I don't think he's going to get any money for football.
Well, now that he got himself bounced off the Raiders, and he now screwed up over here with this
Patriot.
13-year-old girl, I think it was. That's what they're claiming, was a 13-year-old
Oh, I don't
girl.
know.
Yeah. Even, what was that shoe company? It was
Nike?
Nike. They pulled their contract with them. And,
Wow.
He's screwed.
yeah. So,
A whole lot of them, really.
Well,
You make all this money, you get all this attention, all of a sudden you're famous, and then you think, boy, my pecker's so much bigger than everybody else's, and I'm just a cat's pajamas, man. I'm the hot tamale. But the fame and everything, it warps your mind, and it warps who you are as a person. And these people, they go out there, they get all
well,
this
that goes
attention.
back to what we were saying earlier. You don't say no to them. So they get out there and they get the big head complex, and then they screw up. Because they do not have a proper sense of right or wrong.
And as far as Nike, though, I mean, screw that whole company. I hope they go bankrupt, they crash and burn. All their political stuff and everything they've been involved with, to hell with them.
Well, I can't afford to buy their shoes anyway, so it don't bother me if they did go belly up. Or if their shipload of shoes sank to the bottom of the ocean. Wait a minute, that wouldn't be fair to the fish.
As far as I'm concerned, a company has no business in politics, all right? Call me a cold-hearted capitalist, but if you're running a business, you're there to make money. Keep your nose out of something that doesn't belong in. Why go stick your nose in politics? Oh, well, my company stands behind. No. Sell your product and fuck off.
Okay, Jack, I'll have to look and see what our email thing is so that you can fix that. I'll try to have that by next Sunday.
Email.
I'm not sure what it is, but we'll try and find it. I may have it written down somewhere, but I'm not going to take the time to try and look for it right at this moment. So, yeah, because I think we changed it from what it was when Mike was running it, but I'm not sure. Yeah, Magic Johnson had the same problem, and but yeah, I was watching tonight some of the game, not the Steeler one, but the other one that was on, and the guy signed a 3-year contract, to play for whatever team it was, they were getting $6 million a year for a 3-year contract. $18 million to play football. Okay? And I hate to say this, I used to be an avid football fan. And I'm not jealous one bit about how much they're making, but I think they have become overpaid prima donnas. And,
That's for sure.
and when they do their job, they got to go out and do their little fancy dance, dingleberry shuffle or whatever. And that used to be called taunting when they did that. Now they decided to do away with the taunting rules. Now everybody that makes a play gets up and does something. Okay? And the camera crews, broadcast, focus in on him when he's doing it instead of just, hey, you're getting paid to do that. We're not paying you to do that and then go dance, because if you did, you ain't worth a shit. Okay, so go back to playing football, what you're good at. But there isn't any of them that, I don't care who it is, there isn't any of them that are worth $1 million a year to play any sport. I don't care what sport. And that is absolutely ridiculous. Now, is there a chance they can get hurt? Yep. Is there a chance they can get maimed? Yep. That's why football teams at least used to have insurance to take care of their player if they were injured. And so, and not, like I say, I'm not jealous one bit. I just think it's a waste of money, and that's why anything that you buy that's related to the NFL, sports memorabilia, is expensive. That's why it costs you $100 to go to a cheap seat to go to the game and $10 or $15 for a beer. Why does it cost it? Because you got to pay for that $8 million prima donna down there that's playing. So, anyway, that's getting kind of off track. So, oh, you're just a young chick, Bob. Young man, Bob, and I'm 61, it says here. Yeah, well, when you get to be 71, Bob will call you an old fart like me.
Yeah. At church, my son-in-law was not present, and he was not. I mean, but my oldest daughter was there, and the kids, and this lady walks up and said, "Oh, you got a wonderful-looking family. You're so well-behaved. Children you have. They're all, I think they're so great, you know." And how do you two do it? I said, "I'm the grandfather." You are? No, you can't be. You look old enough. Your grandfather. I am, trust me.
Some of the stuff that the kids are chatting on there is kind of interesting.
Oh, what are they chatting about? I can't read from here.
Well, one of them is, I haven't used my Johnsons in so long, I can't remember who gets tied up. That was from,
Okay.
okay, where is it? That was from Bob. Yeah, I understand, I get it, because used to tie the shoes. Now we have maybe Velcro strips on everything. And I could tell a joke about Velcro, but I won't do that. I get charged with a hate crime. And, anyhow, come on guys, jump in there.
Oh, the U2 SWAT team didn't show up all across the field there. They rob a helicopter, you know. Let's see.
As far as topics go, though, NFL, I've never really been a sports fan, but I can't even tolerate it anymore.
Well, when I lost...
Never really liked it to begin with, but I always thought that touchdown celebrations, unprofessional, and
That's
thought
right.
they were childish.
Yeah, when I in college, when I was a kid, Okay?
I don't like touchdown celebrations, kneeling during the national anthem. You're not there to make a
Well,
statement.
that
You're-
happened, what, 2 seasons prior.
Yeah,
That
but-
turned me off right here. I used to watch the Steelers, when they were on it, but once they started doing the protests, forget it. So I haven't watched, well, other than seeing it on your screen, I walked in, I watched a football game on TV for, well, this has been 3rd season.
Yeah, I had the Steeler game on when we were there. But my interest has waned so much, and where it really took a downhill spin. I was upset with all the monkey shines that they were doing after scoring a touchdown,
Oh, yeah.
or making a fancy play, or sacking a quarterback, or tackling the running back, or intercepting the pass, and all that kind of shit. I started losing that because the longer it went on, the more ridiculous they got.
Well, yeah,
So, but
I'll get out to him,
when they showed those overpaid pieces of shit kneeling on the sidelines saying that they were oppressed and they're making millions of dollars, I like to see them take some of their money and put it where their mouth is and go out and help some of their people. If we are truly oppressing them, go out and help them. Okay? Now, there has been a couple that have started different things to help their people, but the majority of your problem is your own creation because you won't go to school and take advantage of the education, the public education that's provided for you. Okay? I feel sorry not for those who do not do that. If you don't go to school and take advantage of it, then you deserve to get the garbage out of the garbage can and that. Because you're too damn lazy to put forth an effort to overcome whatever you have to overcome. Okay? I could have easily, years ago when I tore up my back, just said, to hell with it, and played the medical game and gone on welfare. But I wouldn't have anything. Okay? I wouldn't have anything. All this welfare does is increase your dependence upon it. So I did get some state aid to go to gunsmithing school. And for 25 years I ran my gunsmithing business, working 10, 12 hours a day, 6 and 7 days a week. And what did I get for it at the end of the year? I got a tax return that had $2,000 in it, and that was my paycheck for a year's worth of work. Basically $1 an hour on a 40-hour week. Okay? But when you start considering 60 and 70 hours, it breaks it down quite a bit. But I did it because I had pride in what I was doing, and I had pride in myself, and I was trying to provide things better. But what gets me and galls me is all these people that are too damn lazy to go out and do it. And I remember when the first attempt to cut the welfare under Reagan. Okay, the news media went and started interviewing women of certain color that were sitting on their porch, and they said, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. I got 9 kids by 9 different boyfriends or 9 different fathers, and I don't know where they're at. Well, you should have thought of that before you started popping them out. And after you had the first one, you should have been sewn shut, so that you can't have any more. But that sounds racist, I know, but it's not racist when you're telling the truth. And if the truth hurts, then we must be on point. So, anyway, that's my beef. And it's been exacerbated now because we now allow all these illegals to come in here, and we gotta bend over backwards to kiss their ass to...
Oh yeah, we owe them job, we owe them health care, we owe them whatever. No, we don't.
We don't owe them nothing. They didn't work here. They're not citizens here. They're trying to get in illegally, and they got caught, so that makes them a criminal. So they need to be sent back. Don't house them in prisons because they're a criminal. Send them back. And if they don't like the conditions in their home country, give them an AR-15 and 1,000 rounds of ammo so they can go home and clean it up. Okay? Give them a gun and send them home.
might be cheaper.
Well, right now with AR-15s going between $400 and $500 a pot, okay, for $1,000 you can get them 1,000 rounds of ammo and maybe 10 magazines in an AR-15. They can go down and have a hell of a good time cleaning your country up.
Anybody from Venezuela? Hey, we send you back.
Venezuelans get top priority.
Those people down there getting run over and just for protesting.
Well, that's what happens to you.
Well, when you take away the guns, people, all they got is protest, and the government's only going to take it for so long, and then they're going to start...
Well, you got to throw rocks, you got to throw firebombs, and then you got to start attacking police and soldiers to get their weapons and ammo, and then fight back.
But it makes it easier for the entrenched powers to stay there because they basically have no real physical threat because bullets go further than rocks.
A rock.
Bullets go further than you can throw a Molotov cocktail. They even go further than you can shoot a bow at them or throw a pitchfork. But the only thing you can do is hijack a car and slam it into their barracks and go mob in and overwhelm them in numbers. But that's Venezuela, and that shit's going to happen here if they are allowed to push their gun ban. And that's what I was going to mention. I don't know if you guys mentioned it, with that store in Arizona with Bioto's so-called...
Yeah, BO special, yeah.
Yeah. He sold out 200 guns in 3 hours.
Actually, like 400. Well, it's when he's...
Well, it might have been updated since then, but
I'm sure he's selling quite a few.
yeah. And I imagine he's not...
Yeah, he sold all 200 AR-15 in stock within hours. I think it was 4 hours. Less than 4 hours, I think. But yeah, so all 200 were gone.
So,
And I had to argue on Facebook with somebody about AR-15s being a weapon of war. No, they're not.
and then Colt jumping on the bandwagon and saying, well, we're not going to produce AR-15s for the civilian market anymore. We made 6 million of them. There's 6 million of them out there. I have a feeling there's a lot more than that.
Well, they were saying that the market is oversaturated and that they have no intention of ceasing production entirely or
Well, they're still going to
indefinitely.
make them for the police and
Right.
the military.
They want to fulfill their military and police obligations first. In the civilian market, there are cheaper alternatives to what Colt can provide, and they just don't feel like there's much of a market for Colt to be manufacturing and selling to the civilian market
Yeah,
because
but
people
all they've
want to buy
done
them.
is made it easier for their competition because Colt was making a good quality product. Okay, there are lots of stuff out there that are cheaper versions made with polymer frames that work well for a while. Okay, but if that polymer frame gets cold and you drop it, there's a little hinge there. It's got very little plastic around it. Pin that holds the upper receiver in, you know what I'm talking about. If it gets cold and that breaks, you're screwed. Okay? Basically all you have is an upper receiver. So it means you gotta go find a lower receiver. But that should put before the government decides to crack down on it, that should put a big demand on the 80% receivers out there again, especially the aluminum ones. So if it does, I look for the price of them to go up. But I got a flyer, email flyer from CDNN. They've got some AR-15 uppers for less than $200.
Is that a complete upper assembly?
They didn't say whether they had the bolt or not, but for $200, okay, you can buy a bolt for $100, and you can buy a charging handle for $30. So for 2.5 or 3.5, you got an 80% receiver. So Yeah, because don't count on the price of them staying this low. Now that Colt's made that announcement, because there's going to be other things that come down the pike for people trying to be politically correct. So, well, on that note, we have 1 minute left by our clock. And we have to go by our clock. It's official. Anything you want to say there, Mr. T?
We know the Democrats in particular, and a lot of Republicans want our guns, want to restrict their gun use. If you can, and you haven't bought one yet, please buy one now with ammo. Learn how to use it. If you can buy them, you have one or two, you need to buy another one, go out and buy them. Pay on your finances. Train when you can, but stock up on ammo. And food and bandages and whatnot too.
Yeah, because information has it, and I think I alluded to this, information has it that if Trump should win re-election, that the deep state is going to go after him and his family. And if you haven't heard the term deep state, it's the government within the government. And I'll tell you who's deeply involved in that, and that would be the NSA and the CIA. Okay? Does that put a target on me? Yeah, because I said CIA and NASA. But you've gotta be wary. If we can get Trump in there and protect him, we need to dismantle the authority that the CIA has gotten or usurped, and need to dismantle the authority of the NSA and put the kiboshes on the CIA and make them intelligence gathering only. You are not allowed to go in and buy off somebody and pay for assassination and that kind of stuff. Any words from you, Bones?
Oh, buy more guns, buy more ammos, vote Republican. That's all.
Okay. Well, on that note, folks, we still haven't figured out our music and buffers thing, but I will try to find our password so we can get that fixed. But those of you that are listening, take and spread the word so we can keep this thing going, because I see we're down to 8 listeners, and it's probably the wrong time of the year to be doing this because everybody is still heavily involved in football. Okay. Good night, folks. See you next week. Lord willing, the creeks don't rise.
Sunday might not be a good night.
Well, I'm like I said,
you're doing gunship.
Okay, I gotta turn this off. How do I turn this off? Live dashboard. That's off. Camera. Did the camera go down yet?
Nope. Still up there.
Close that window. Close that window.